Hey guys, Kapper here and welcome back. Today we're going to talk about some strategies on how to set up your deer towers and at it. Some guys think it's just as simple as planting a food plot and plopping a deer tower in. And you sure could do that, but if you want to enjoy more than, 2 or 3 hunts, if you want to enjoy hunts out of this thing all season long without getting burned, you have to think of these things now before the season comes. So I'm going to show you 2 of the fall plots here that I'm going to plant right next to this tower, and I'm going to show you the layout of the land, the thermals, and what wind directions I can hunt this. So if you look behind me, I just broke up this corner of this field. This used to be our farm field, and everything that's planted here is soybeans, and the beans have been just devoured by the deer. I'll give you a quick look at them. So these beans are not going to bear me any fruit for the late season. Here's a look at my soybeans. This is why I'm tilling spots under, because these aren't going to do anything for me in late season. I'm doubtful that I'll get pods off of any of them, but you could see they're just devoured. It looks like you took a sickle mower and just went. I got 11 acres of beans and it all looks like this. So it was 11 acres is not enough for deer browse where I'm at. Next year I'm going to try corn. But, I mean, they came up good. We had great weather, a lot of good rains on them, but you could just see how they're all knocked flat. Just devoured. But that's why I'm supplementing with fall plots. Fall plots, you can grow a lot of tonnage. And part of my objective is not just like to have a kill plot for deer, but all season long attraction, basically. So I'm going to show you how this lays out from the air, and then I'm going to show you the second plot and why I put them where I did, and why I'm not planting them right here where the camera is in front of me. So here's the opposite side of that field. It's kind of kitty corner, but we got the deer tower up here, and the terrain in this direction goes downhill, and it goes downhill this way. But I also know from my experience is that the evening thermals usually go downhill this way because it's such a huge draw all the way down. So I'm facing due north right here. So I've got this future micro plot here that's basically to the west, and then I got this one that's up to the northeast. And so I'm looking for a north wind here or a northwest wind, and I'm also coupling that with the thermal that's headed downhill this way. So I want them deer, when they're lingering, I want them up here and down here. This site has been proven already. I've planted this 3 or 4 years in a row, and I have virtually never been busted out of this stand. And when I say busted, usually scented is the thing. And I never used to believe in scent control, but then I thought, well, I want to start seeing more deer, and I've become kind of fanatical about it, but I'm going to tell you it works, okay? If you can hunt a farm like mine, you could ask my friend Curtis. I had him kind of guest hunt last year, and he was just absolutely amazed at the number of deer he saw just in one sit. And if you take your scent control to a real extreme, you should be able to hunt stands like this all season long, and your goal is to never get busted in there. Never, not once. Know how, especially scented. So another thing I look for when I place a stand, now this one was already here, so this is a bonus stand, but I try to put it elevated as high as I can, obviously, because the higher you are, the higher your scent drifts. But not only the stand elevation, but the ground elevation. So like I said, from here to the bottom of that plot, you're probably talking about a 5 or 6 or 7 foot drop. So I got downhill going that way, and I got downhill going that way. So the higher you can get, if you can get on a little knob or something, that's going to help your scent just drift over the top of the deer. And especially if you're doing scent control. Let's take a look from the tower. Okay, so here is the tower. Light control is obviously very important. I take that to extreme also. A lot of guys don't. But them deer can look right up in your tower. But anyways, let's look. Here's to the north, to the northeast. That's due north. So here's the new food plot going in. So here's a current look at this food plot. It's Halloween today, October 31st, 2020. And here's how the food plot turned out. And the deer are in here every single day. So let's continue on with the strategy of how I'm placing this tower, where and why. All right, I want to keep them up to the northeast of my scent. And then moving over to this window, this is to the west. And there's the next plot, okay? And here's my wind cone where I want it. Down here, I want it going straight to the south, kind of southeast, and the thermals are going down that way. And I've had a lot of good experiences last year right out of this window. I kind of shot that real gnarly buck right out here. And I've seen some bigger ones in this stand, just didn't have the right opportunities. So when you're setting up a deer tower and a food plot, think of those things. So also what I know is the deer travel, they come right out of that corner of that field. That's why I wanted to have plenty of food here in this corner. Every evening they pile out of there. And they also pile out of here to the right, which is the same patch of woods. It's just that some deer come from one direction and some come from the other. And behind me, this is a new tree row that I planted. I spayed a bunch of cedars and I'm letting this grow a natural regen. The goal is to basically put a barrier between that food plot and this field and that food plot. And it's already, well, you can see the cedars are pretty high, but in probably another 2 years, this will be an impenetrable wall of just nasty brush here, and it should separate that plot from this one. So if a deer busts you or whatever out here and they snort, but these deer in here can't see it, they're a little bit less likely to just take off, and they're more likely to come back even quicker if that happens. So in closing, thanks for joining me, by the way. I appreciate you guys being on board. But in closing, there's a lot more to a really successful deer setup, especially in a tower blind, than just dropping a food plot in and plopping a tower there. If you go to a little bit extra lengths and you consider all of these nuances, wind direction, thermal direction, deer travel direction, ingress and egress out of your stands, you can really improve your hunting and your experiences significantly. I mean, I used to never see deer when I started deer hunting, and now I've continually developed it every year to constantly improve things. So good luck on your deer towers and your food plots, and to all the hunters, good luck this season. I hope to see you on the next video. Thanks a lot.